likes to use it. Good evening and welcome to the OurCoop County Ground. Slight change of name this week. I think this is the second game with the new name, so we've got used to it. We've got the first one out of the way. It's Derbyshire women against Kent, the penultimate game of the 2026 Vitality Blast for the home side. The final one in, well, the regular phase, if you like, for Kent, who are still in with a very decent shot of making it through to finals day on the 12th of July at Spire Gardens. I'm Freddie Cardy, as you can see there. Alongside me is Georgia Ralph. Georgia, still plenty on this game for Kent. There was a bit of travel disruption as well for Kent, the visitors. Ended up getting here about 4:45, which was a little later than they'd anticipated. Run into some traffic on the motorway on the way up here. There was talk of the game being moved to 7, but we are all good for a 6:30 start because I don't know about your warm-up, Georgia, but they seem to have plenty of time in the end. I think some common sense was reached in the end.
Yeah, I think they had a reasonable amount to warm up, and it's certainly warm out there as well, so they probably didn't want to spend too long pre-game out in the sunshine.
Two teams are in. The Derbyshire batting order, I've seen different graphics, I've seen different ideas. What we do know is there's a debutant for the Falcons, Olivia Kibler, the loanee from Essex's academy. She makes her debut. She's going to take the gloves as well, which means Matilda Atherton-Gator moves to the top of the order. Now, she was initially carded alongside Rebecca Duckworth, but the sheet of paper I've got in front of me now suggests that Emily Hughes is opening the batting, Duckworth coming in at 4, Frances Lonsdale moving up a position into 3, so maybe Derbyshire just moving things around. Maybe that'll be wrong. We'll have to see. But according to that sheet, which is the most updated one, Emily Hughes and Matilda Atherton-Gator open the batting. It's then Lonsdale, Rebecca Duckworth, Lauren Kenvin, Olivia Kibler with the gloves, Melisha Tenakoon, Captain Adriana Darlow, Rhiannon Knowling-Davis, Beth Slater and Frankie Clark. So Clark, Kibler and Duckworth coming into the side. The visitors, Kent, Coco Streets, Amy Gordon, Maddie Blinkhorn-Jones keeps wicket, Kelly Castle, Elsa Barnfather, Genevieve Gear, Holly Young, Zena Bilal, Captain Megan Bell, Isabella James and Sydney Gorham. Again, that's slightly different to the lineup, I think, that they put out. So we'll see. But the Derbyshire batting order has not been super settled, certainly at the top of the order a lot this year. Derbyshire lost at Queen's Park on Saturday. We were on commentary there, lost by 37 runs to Gloucestershire. And they will, for a rare occasion this season, be batting first. Kent winning the toss, Georgia, and elected to bowl, which you expected.
Yeah, I think Kent have done a good job at restricting runs for their opposition in bowling first so far this season, so it seemed like a sensible option for them to go with. So I think they'll be expecting to go out there today, restrict the run rate as much as possible and then make their lives a lot easier for the second innings with the bat.
Kent in good form, named an unchanged squad from their win over Northants, beat them by 4 wickets. It was a final ball thriller. They needed 4 to win off the last ball, chasing 104. Zina Belal with a reverse sweep, sort of lap scoop sweep, however you want to say it. Not George's favourite shot, as we discovered on Saturday. What do Derbyshire need to do differently? I mean, they've got the opportunity to bat first, haven't they? Because they've proven they can bat comfortably for 20 overs and post a decent score on the board. It's not been enough. So maybe actually being put into bat, if that is the approach, then it's onto the bowlers, create a bit of pressure. Almost they've been forced to change things up tonight. Maybe that's a positive.
I think one of the things that they had to have taken away from last week with the bat was the importance of the power play. And I felt last week they just didn't max the opportunity that was there in that power play phase of the game. So I think that's something that they've got to go out hard for today and then sort of start continuing to build. There was obviously a really good partnership there between Kenvin and Lonsdale last week. So building partnerships is also an important part of it, but they just need to go out hard for that power play and really own the game in that first phase.
Yes, Gloucestershire, who made 172 for 8 at Queen's Park. Derbyshire took wickets throughout, but I had it down as 5 drop catches and 18 extras, I think, in the end. 56 for 3 Gloucestershire after the power play. Derbyshire were 23 for 2. I mean, that was the game there. Kenvin and Lonsdale batted really nicely, but I mean, losing a match 3 down, chasing, and all 3 wickets out stumped. I've never seen that before. No,
I don't think I have either. I think that obviously both batters batted a good innings, but they at no point really looked like they were going to win the game. And I think that's something that they perhaps need to have a think about going into this game is, yes, let's build those partnerships, but also we need to take charge of the game. And that's something that coming out batting first, they've got to do right from the offset to put themselves in good stead going into that second innings.
Here come Kent and the 2 Derbyshire openers. It's a warm, sunny evening. It's a lot more pleasant than last week anyway, with the heat wave. It's perfect cricketing weather. I think, Georgia, it's Derbyshire women's first game under floodlights as well, so they'll be fielding in the second innings when the floodlights will take effect. That's going to be something they'll have to get used to. Yeah,
it's so different fielding under floodlights, especially when those catches go up. And as you've mentioned, we saw a few drop catches last week. So it'd be interesting to see how they take that on and whether that's something that they've perhaps been practicing in the lead up to this game.
Two umpires, Kelly Alcock and Bilal Sharafat, again in their darker shade of blue. It just seems to be the most popular kit in any form of cricket at the minute, the darker blue. Derbyshire slightly lighter. I wonder if it's the same pitch. I wasn't here on Wednesday for the men's T20 against Lancashire. I wonder if it's the same one that was used on that evening. We're 2 days on from that. There were some runs in that game. So then Kent still in contention for finals day. Glamorgan running away with it. They've booked their spot, 27 points. A bonus point win over second place Middlesex. They're on 18. Kent, Gloucestershire also on 18. And, Gloucestershire now 22. My table isn't updated because Gloucestershire beat Leicestershire earlier. So still plenty to play for. It's a big game for Kent because of that. And they're going to get things underway. From the City end, Kent trying to get to finals day. This is their last game. Derbyshire have 2 left. They play Leicestershire here on Sunday, and you can watch that with us on the live stream. Entry is free. Entry is free for this one as well, so do come down if you're in the area. Here is the first ball. And a watchful start from Rebecca Duckworth, who was originally carded to open the batting alongside Matilda Atherton-Gator, and it looks like that is indeed the opening pair. Can't be easy for Derbyshire, who have had a lot of changes, the openers this year, Georgia. Lara Shaw, on loan from the Blaze, was excellent last year. Jess Coos was the top run scorer in the Blast. She's been in and out of form. It's not easy for a T20 side. We have to keep chopping and changing at the top of the order.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's perhaps underrated at the pressure on openers going out there and the fact that they're setting up the whole innings right from the start of the game, and perhaps having some stability up top helps carry through later into the game and later into the innings. So definitely something that's probably played into Derbyshire's less successful batting performances so far this season.
Covering in third on the boundary. Probing line here from Sydney Gorham. One of a number of Kent players from London. There's a lot of Surrey connections, a lot of South East Stars connections. Of course, Kent, historically a very, very successful women's county in England. One of the most successful. Plenty of star names back in the 2010s and the earlier 2000s too. Plenty of history. A watchful start from Rebecca Duckworth, the Yorkshire Loney.
You talked about the Surrey Academy, and I think that Surrey is doing amazing things for women's cricket and cricket more broadly. The setup that they've got there is absolutely fantastic. So the young players that have kind of come in on loan from Surrey are going to bring a lot more skill and experience into this game.
Nicely driven by Duckworth. This is going to be the first boundary of the game. It was half stopped and looked like it might just hold up in the outfield, but the ball had enough momentum, and we barely saw any shots through the covers, through that sort of region on Saturday against Gloucestershire. It was a nice drive on the up from Duckworth. Derbyshire 4 without loss, 1 ball left of the first over. Rebecca Duckworth, the eldest member of this 11 at 25. Beaten on the inside edge this time to end the over. Good battle between bat and ball, 4 without loss. And if let's look now at Matilda Atherton-Gator at the top of the order, just 18 years in comparison. Kept well. Straight away, Kent keeper Blinkhorn Jones up to the stump, so you see some spin from Amy Gordon. Off spin around the wicket really was the order of play on Saturday, and that's going. Is it going to continue or no? I wonder if she's going to come around the umpire, but the non-striker has moved over to the right, so Gordon will start over. Yeah, former Surrey captain for the Surrey Stars in the KSL. As Atherton-Gator misses the cut.
The KSL feels like a long time ago now.
To say. Yeah, the 2019 KSL for the Surrey Stars. That's cut away. Fielded in the... Oh, there's a run-out chance, but Duckworth had comfortably made her ground in the end. Blinkhorn Jones certainly letting the stumps know her intentions. 2 of them flattened. So long on and deep mid-wicket out for Gordon. Already some of the shadows lengthening from the floodlights. They're not on yet, but it will be a challenge for Derbyshire. I wonder if they'll have had any evening training sessions when they've been out here training under them. Good line from Gordon. Have you had much experience at all playing under the lights?
I think I've played 1 game under the lights, and you did notice the difference massively.
Guided to short third. Not an easy ground to field on at the best of times, this one as well. Derbyshire did win their last game here, though, against Sussex in the T20 Blast, one of their 2 Blast wins this year. Forced onto the back foot by a quicker delivery from Gordon. Especially in the women's game, when you're taking part of double headers, you're often the first one. So the opportunity to play later on in the day is somewhat restricted. There's another quick single. Well backed up. So a quiet over, 2 off it. 6 for no loss.
We mentioned going into this game that the power play would be really important from Derbyshire's perspective. They're probably going to be talking about how they can start to capitalise a bit here. Obviously, you need to take a little bit of time to see the ball in. But I think 2 overs in, they've got to start having a look about where the gaps are, where they can find their boundary options, and even if it is just rotating the strike, finding the opportunities to do that as well.
Matilda Rafferton-Gator up at the top of the order. She's not taking the gloves today. Olivia Kibler, the loanee from Essex Academy on her debut, will keep wicket. Duckworth cuts nicely for a single. There's a few people and actually peering away to our left-hand side. The onside now for Rafferton-Gator. And every player in this game is a right-handed batter. We only had 1 lefty. Where are all the lefties going? Only 1 lefty at Queen's Park. Full. Another swish from Rafferton-Gator outside off. Similar story though at the top level, isn't it? The England team, Freya Kemp, was the only one at the minute.
Lindsay
Smith, yeah. He's not luckily had to do much batting. Excellent. You mentioned Surrey as well. Great crowd, a great atmosphere yesterday at the Oval. Final, of course, at Lord's on Sunday, but we know everyone will be watching this. Oh, that's comfortably over the stump. She would have been out there, Rafferton-Gator. And Kelly Castle doing the fielding, coming in from mid-on. She'll be disappointed with that. She only had a few yards from which to throw down the stumps.
Good pressure from Derbyshire batters, though, putting that on the fielders to let them know that, actually, you're going to have to do something here. You can't just sit back on your heels and expect us to take the dot. We're actually going to test you out a bit today.
Nicely driven off the back foot. Yeah, I'm sure Derbyshire wouldn't have minded when they heard that Kent were stuck in traffic, but they made good time in the end. Cricketers can be quite superstitious as well, so turning up late might have thrown a couple off. All the extensive warm-ups people like to go through. Some of the other games, we've had a number of games earlier today in Tier 2. Glamorgan, a big win by 78 runs against Middlesex to seal their spot at a home finals day. Gloucestershire, that went down to the last over. They beat Leicestershire Foxes by 11 runs. Sussex won by 6 wickets midway through the final over. So some good games. They beat Northants. Duckworth was beaten again on the drive. And Tier 1, there was a win for Surrey over the Blaze. Yorkshire got their first win by 11 runs, made 210 for 4 against Somerset. Lauren Winfield Hill making 99 of 55. Steer Callis after the World Cup, 84 off 50. And it's Durham against Lancashire now as well in Tier 1. It's reaching for that one, Duckworth. Just 1 boundary in the first over, and it's been quiet since then. Kent will be very pleased with this.
I think Kent have got quite a nice mix going on here, with Sydney being one of their quicker bowling options, but then also taking the pace off at the other end and having a spinner on. We're starting to see that a lot in women's cricket, that they're opening with that sort of combination of a spinner and a seamer.
Bellen Smith for England. It's so hard to face. Lindsay Smith just looks horrible to face. Cut nicely. Good sound off the bat, but picks out the fielder at cover point. Misfield will think about the single. Maybe would have got through, but no risks taken. It's looking like another quiet power play for Derbyshire at the minute, and that will be a concern. In the air, and oh, it's gone down. Ball just seemed to hold up for a while in the air. Fielder in from extra cover, making her ground Holly Young, and got a hand to it.
She didn't look like she saw it straight away. I think she thought it was going to drop short, and then at the last moment made a dive for it. But I think she'll be disappointed with that one because she did just about get there. It would have been a great catch, though.
Duckworth 7 of 18. Saw how Jess Cooser chewed up a few deliveries. That defeat to Gloucestershire. Especially if the spinner on as well. All of a sudden you look up and you face 20 deliveries and you think, right, we need to get on with it. These overs fly by. Full delivery. Nicely done behind the stumps as well. Hasn't been any shots as well from either of these two where they've looked to advance, take on the spinner as well. 'Cause it doesn't look like there's loads of turn. But Derbyshire really being restricted here in the power play. Gordon, one more dot and that'll be a maiden over. Could it have had a wicket? Will be a maiden over. Excellent from Amy Gordon.
Yeah, in these T20 games, you want to be, certainly in the power play, you want to be aiming for at least 6 and over. We're currently seeing them at a run rate just under 3. So I think there's definitely got to be some conversations going on now between the batters of how they change this at this point. We're at a point where if they change it nice and early and start to find some rhythm, then we can see the positive effects of that going later on into the innings. But if they don't change something soon, they may start to watch this run away from them a little bit.
Yeah, I wonder if they want to think about almost sending a pinch hitter in, someone like Adriana Darlow, who's batted, in my opinion, a little too far down the order. And it's understandable, she's an all-rounder, she's the captain, she's got a lot on her plate. But whether actually, you know, Lonsdale and Kenvin are good through the middle overs, you throw in Adriana Darlow a little bit early, try and advance the scoring rate, a quick 20 or 30. Shorter, a little bit too short from Zina Bilal, who's on to bowl from the City end, and Atherton Gator picked up the length really nicely, pulled it for 4.
That was a really nice strike. Picked out the short ball and sent it where it kind of belonged, to be honest.
John Dyson, the Derbyshire head coach, out for a walk. The boundary. Right for runs, left for wickets, of course. He's turned right when he got down the bottom of the Elite Performance Centre. Short again. Didn't really get up as much. It was wide. Another quick single. Bilal trying to control with her right foot. May have been painful if that had connected. But good running. So Duckworth will be feeling the pinch at the minute. 7 of 20.
Just seeing that Maddie Blinkhorn-Jones has come up to the stumps now. She's got a stumping in all bar 1 game so far this season in the T20s.
Back of a length again. Cut, and they'll come through for the single. I'm sure she'll have looked at that Derbyshire scorecard as well and thought 3 stumpings. I'm in the game today.
Yeah, not had a bad season, Blinkhorn-Jones. 6 stumpings, 3 catches so far in the T20s.
And a former teammate?
Yeah, have played a little bit with her, yeah.
Very experienced Blinkhorn-Jones. Back of a length again. Was there bat? Was there glove from the wicket keeper? The ball holding up enough for them to come back for 2. It's going to be 2 byes. So first extras of this first innings. Yeah, Blinkhorn-Jones, another former Surrey and South East Stars player after their academy. Essex last year and then Kent this year.
She's one of those players that you want to have in your team. She gets you out of trouble. Often finds runs where you really need somebody to step up and find runs. And we certainly needed that at playing at club at Spencer in London, one of the biggest clubs in the country. She always managed to find runs when we needed them.
Always a good marker of the player. Who would I want on my team? And I always think, who would I hate playing against? So it's an always really good way to judge a player. Cut nicely. That's flown away to the boundary. Really good timing from Atherton Gator, who's been moved up to the top of the order for the first time. Bilal's just not found her length at all in her first over.
Yeah, just a bit short from her so far. It's just allowing the batters to see it come up. And she's also given that extra bit of width as well. So it's allowing them to really get their hands through it. And it's difficult when it's outside that off stump there. It's difficult to set a field to that because you can just change the face of the bat to work it around fielders.
An over that Derbyshire needed. Back of a length again, cut, but picks out Holly Young this time, and Bilal gets out of the over. 21 without loss. The power play was 23 for 2, so they should at least go past that. Ken, if you're just joining us, winning the toss and electing to bowl first. Need certainly this, and well, one win from their last 2 might not guarantee it. So, well, sorry, this is their last game. There are other teams with a couple more, well, one more. Derbyshire have one more game on Sunday. So this is Kent's last game. It is a must-win for them to make sure that they can go through to finals day at Sophia Gardens. So very much all to play for. Another bowling change. This time from the racecourse end, Holly Young. Another off-spinner in their first season. Another one who enjoys club cricket. Double century last year for Hailsham CC, the first female player to score a double century in the Sussex Premier League. She's on with the ball at the moment. Driven but not timed. Another good piece of running, just puts the pressure on the fielders.
They thought about 2 there. I think sometimes from a batting perspective, even if you don't know it's there, looking like you're going to take it just wakes the fielders up a little bit and it applies that extra bit of pressure as well.
Change to the field, long on, deep mid-wicket as they reinforce the offside in the ring. Nicely taken behind the stumps by Blinkhorn-Jones. Lime green and white wicket-keeping gloves. And another missed cut, this time by Atherton Gator. Kent wicketless in this power play, but they'll be delighted. The run rate sitting below 4 and over. 2 balls left of the first 6 overs. Sweeping is Atherton Gator to square leg. Another quick single. In fact, it's a leg by. Commentary position up on the 2nd floor at long on. Of course, it's no excuse. So point on the boundary for Duckworth and deep mid-wicket. She drives to mid-off. So for the 2nd game in a row, Derbyshire scored 23 runs from the first 6 overs, but they haven't lost a wicket. Duckworth 9 of 24, Atherton Gator 11 of 12, so neither striking above 100. It's Kent's power play.
This is something Kent have done so well so far this season, restricting the run rate of the teams that they're playing against. they've kept several teams under 100 or in that 100 ballpark, which in T20 cricket at this standard, the 100 ballpark just isn't enough, unfortunately. But that's something Kent have done very well this season.
Isabella James will bowl her leg spin from the city end. So after the power play, then long on and long off out, cover on the boundary, deep mid wicket. Sweep is an option. Struck on the pad first ball, and the umpire has raised the finger. Well, Derbyshire got through the power play unscathed. The first ball after it, Matilda Rafferton-Gator's time at the top of the order comes to an end this evening. She's struck LBW, first ball by Isabella James, and Derbyshire 23 for 1.
I think Kent deserve that wicket. The way they've bowled, the pressure that they've built. Derbyshire don't look like they're feeling that pressure at the moment. They look like they've been going quite comfortably. But they definitely deserve that wicket there. And that's down to the hard work that the other bowlers that have put in terms of building that pressure.
That was tossed up, yeah, and that was plumb in front of middle stump, unfortunately, for Matilda Rafferton-Gator. So it's Lauren Kenvin in at number 3. She's in some fine form. I'm sure she'd just love to be on the winning side of the runs that she's scoring. Turns that one away. Fine. And there was no fielder in the ring or on the boundary, so Kenvin off the mark. Recent scores, 52 not out, 46 not out, and then 50 all in the blast. I think the winning runs here in that T20 blast win over Sussex as well. Derbyshire's first win at the OurCoop County Ground. Using the feet now is Duckworth. But to no avail. Spinners already making things happen and restricting Derbyshire. Down the pitch again. Nice use of the feet. A single for Duckworth.
Really good use of the feet there. I think that's such an important thing to do against spinners, just to get to the pitch of the ball, open up more opportunities in the gaps in the field as well. So she's done nicely there.
Yeah, we're talking about Derbyshire's wagon wheel in that defeat to Gloucestershire. Very few boundaries through the offside. Kenvin we saw using her feet really well to move on to off stump and then access the leg side. Excellent over. 2 runs and a wicket off it. 25 for 1. Rafferton-Gator was dismissed LBW. And Derbyshire once more having some trouble with the bat. Be looking for more from Rebecca Duckworth as well, the senior figure on loan from Tier 1 Yorkshire. There'll be some pressure on her to get this innings going.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what experienced players in the team are there for, aren't they? To be able to talk the younger players through big moments in the game, and being 25 for 1 off 7 overs, I would say, is a big moment that something needs to be changed. So I'd like to see her guide her through that, and also take the lead a little bit here as well.
Young conceded just 1 off her first over. This one is through the offside for a single. Interesting that Kent starting quite defensively with the long on and long off both on the boundary. But it does mean, you know, if you have one up in the ring, then you ask the batter the question, and they are going to bring one up into the ring now for for Lauren Kenvin, my apologies. So mid off now in the ring. Another quick single down to long on. Castle does the fielding, and now mid off goes back. To negate the fact that if Duckworth does want to come down, she's going to have to be very straight if she connects. Still the option there, anything behind square. The big pocket. Now mid-off does come up. Square leg on the boundary, deep mid-wicket, long on, cover point. Down the pitch and driven nicely out to that fielder on the offside boundary.
I think Kent are bowling to their fields really well here. There haven't been many boundaries so far, and the boundaries that have been hit have been from, you'd say, poor balls.
On the sweep, now was she outside the line of off stump? Perhaps the umpire thinks so. Umpire Allcock.
And you see again there, bowlers attacking the stumps. And that's where you're going to get your wickets. If you're not bowling at the stumps, the wickets don't come necessarily.
It wasn't the worst shout, but it did look like the impact was outside off. So Kenvin survives. Like it might have been there for the cut, but she's gone down the ground, nearly straight enough, just a single. Castlefields well to limit that to just a single. 29 for 1. All the Kent bowling figures rather exemplary, with the exception of Zina Bilal, who bowled a little bit too short of her seam and hit for a couple of boundaries.
I think it was an excellent decision from Kent to bring Isabella James into the bowling attack as well. She's taken 7 wickets in the T20 games so far this season. Also in her previous time at Cambridgeshire, she was the highest ever female wicket taker with 110 wickets in 7 seasons, which is really impressive.
Goes across her stumps, Kenvin, and sweeps. That's a shot that's certainly in her arsenal. And she's found the boundary, a much needed one for Derbyshire. Such a feature of her game, moving across her stumps, accessing the onside. Connected nicely. Line from Warwickshire's academy. Fielder comes into the ring at square leg. Try and cut off that sweep, so she'll have to get it fine as she does sweep again, and does get it fine enough. Now, will this have the beating of that fielder? It's going to hold up, actually, and they'll just get 2. Good intent from Lauren Kenvin. And these two as well, it's about, you know, we talked about losing a game with 7 wickets in hand. Is it about just showing a bit more intent and backing the rest of your batting order? Because there'll be a few, I think, in the dugout who'll be itching to get going today.
Yeah, I think exactly that. You've got to go out hard. There's no point in the T20 format just trying to stick around. Like you say, you've got to trust in the rest of your batting order as well.
Kenvin forced onto the back foot, no run.
And I think that's what I'd like to see from Derbyshire, just going out there with a bit more positive intent, trying different things, whether that's coming down the track.
Tossed up, swept, but there is protection out the backward square boundary. Kenvin may feel she missed out there.
And I think we've already talked about putting pressure on the fielders as well, but you know, it's not necessarily all about power. Actually, soft hands into the gap and pressuring the fielders to make one as well.
Down the pitch, hit hard past the stumps, and that might be straight enough. The dive is there. It is straight enough. Excellent shot from Rebecca Duckworth, who's started to use her feet a little bit more. Had to be straight because the 2 fielders straight were back on the boundary, but she pierced the gap.
Really nice shot there, and exactly what we're saying, that use of your feet makes life so much easier as a batter, particularly against spin.
In the air, And that is going to fall in the vacant mid-wicket region. The square leg fielder Gorham running round. But a more productive over for Derbyshire. 12 off it, 41 for 1. I think up towards that 50 mark, they'll feel a little bit better after 10 overs with batting to come.
Yeah, we're just starting to see the run rate tickle up a little bit. But I think that's where the batters are going to have to start trying to find the boundary as opposed to waiting for the bad ball to put the boundary away. And that's where it comes into, like we say, you know, moving your feet or just trying to do something a little bit different. And that does increase the risk and mean there's more chance of wickets. But if you can make that pay off, that could really work for Derbyshire here as well.
Here's captain Megan Belt with her spin. Plenty of experience, part of that really successful Kent side. Playing with Tammy Beaumont, Lydia Greenway, and current England coach Charlotte Edwards. Dragged hard through the onside to mid-wicket for a single. 3 county championships and the 2014 T20 Cup. Or Megan Belt silverware. Debut all the way back in 2013. Off something of an edge. Mid off in the ring, long on deep mid wicket, deep square, deep cover. Just reaching for it again, a bit of hesitancy. The throw was probably to the wrong end because they did come through for that single. Kenvin making her ground. Sense Duckworth would have been in a little bit of trouble if the throw was to her end.
I think that's the positivity is coming in here a little bit on Derbyshire's front. They're pressuring the fielders to take those ones now, where earlier on in the game they perhaps weren't taking them.
Flatter delivery down the ground for a single. Lonsdale, Tennacoon, Hughes, Kibler, Darlow all to come, so plenty of batting. Nolan Davis can bat as well. And like I said, I haven't seen much of Slater, and Frankie Clark, I'm sure won't mind the fact she did say to me I'm a specialist 11 the other day. Someone's got to do it. Anyway, halfway through the innings, Derbyshire Falcons women 46 for 1, and they will... Well, they'll need the batting to come, or they'll need these two to get going, Georgia.
Yeah, I think they've got to be aiming for 110 mark here from the position that they're in right now with the wickets in hand. But if these two can stick in and start timing the ball nicely, then hopefully we'll see a few more runs than the 110 mark for them as well. And this could be a really good game going into the second innings.
Amy Gordon back on. She's gone for just 2 runs from her first couple of overs. Duckworth will be feeling the pressure here. Didn't time that one at all. Just smash that towards the car park and ends up hitting the ball back to the bowler. A few people still wandering into the ground. It's a lovely evening for some cricket. If you are local, it's free entry as well as the game on Sunday. Goes for the sweep, half an appeal. Lincoln Jones, your former teammate, has been very quick with her hands behind the stumps.
Yeah, she's an incredible keeper and not somebody that you want behind the stumps when you're running down the track.
Goes down now. No run there. Good fielding by... not Lincoln Jones. Can't see the number because she's just turned back round. But it was the fielder at mid-off. And for that sweep, and got it fine. 4 runs for Rebecca Duckworth, 4 much-needed runs, and nice bit of inventive batting.
I like that. I really like that. She's seen the gap there. She's seen that it doesn't matter how much she's getting on that. That is pretty much running away for 4 down there. And that's what I want to see more of, as I said earlier. So hopefully there'll be a few more sort of 360 style shots that we start to see now.
It's 50 up for the Falcons. Now down the pitch and hard. And gets it under the arm of that fielder at mid-off. Positive intent now from Rebecca Duckworth. Back-to-back boundaries. Putting some pressure back on this Kent side.
That run rate is creeping up slowly as we enter the second half of this innings. I think the batters are certainly starting to have those conversations about, right, we really need to start pushing on here and really going for this and finding those boundary options.
Jake, who's on the roaming camera, has told me it's Genevieve Gier at mid-off. That's very helpful. It's very rare the camera team actually listen to my commentary, so that's nice to know. Useful. Down the ground. Eyes in other places. Jake's found a spot in the shade. He was at Trent Bridge last week, I think, for day 2 during the heat wave. As was Nigel. He's there just sitting down with the camera as well. That can't have been easy conditions to work in. That was one of the best tosses to win in cricket history. Another quick single. Well, with the batting to come, these two almost, you'd think they almost have the freedom to go for it a bit as well, because they know, if you do have to make way, there's Lonsdale, Kibler, Tennakoon, Emily Hughes, and then all the way down to Adriana Darlow. It's almost been a puzzling one the last few games, the fact that Derbyshire have lost with wickets, with wickets in the bag. Would have been something they'd have spoken about, I'm sure. Still just been a little conservative from this pair.
Kent are bowling in very good areas though, and as I said earlier on, really bowling to their field as well, so it's making it life difficult for the Derbyshire batters.
Yeah, he's free in the ring on the offside. Are keeping these two quiet. Going to reinforce that as well with a short third. So there's a backward square in the boundary in the ring. Final ball of the over. Not off the middle of the bat, but enough for a single. 57 for 1.
What are your thoughts on England-Australia final then on?
Well, a bit gutted to
Sunday?
be missing it, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how there's a round of games scheduled on the same day as a T20 World Cup final. That is just remarkable. But yeah, I think it feels like a good chance for England, doesn't it? Home, the home advantage. I would say, and I love Lords, and I'm going there for the Test match, and really looking forward to that. I don't think it's the best venue for a white ball final. I know there's the history, but the Oval's been great for the 2 semi-finals. It's not, as we know, an easy pitch to bat on. So, but I think England have got bowlers who can exploit those conditions. I think, Australia will ramp the pressure on. But yeah, we will see. It's such a good chance for England. We look at the Lionesses, the Red Roses, and hard sweep. Well, that's in the gap. That's 6. I think that's crossed the boundary. The square leg umpire's given 6. I don't think umpire Sharafat was too sure, but that's the first maximum of the innings. Off the bat of Lauren Kenvin.
Yeah, I think you're right. After the Lionesses, Red Roses success, I think this is a perfect opportunity for England to go on and do something really amazing for a home World Cup as well. I don't think Australia have looked their strongest. So, like you say, good opportunity for us, I think.
Yeah, I watched them in the semi-final against the West Indies. Struck her high up on the legs. Come through for a leg bye. Why has Alana King not been playing as well? Has she been an injury doubt? Or?
Injured, I think, yeah.
I just love watching her bowl. And there were some doubts over Elise Perry as well. Of course, Nat Siver-Brunt came back at the perfect time. She looked very emotional. I think when you work that hard to return for such a big game and then it pays off, it's such a good feeling. And she walked back into that side. Superb. Brunt and Knight, especially with the questions coming into the World Cup over Heather Knight as well. It was just really good to see. Sophie Eccleston as well in form. Down the pitch, back to the bowler. Kenvin's sweep has been so effective. 2 or 3 boundaries of that, and then that 6 just crossing the rope in front of the Elite Performance Centre, and a decent amount of fans there. Winding up for the sweep this time. Deep mid-wicket's got some running to do. And they'll push back for 2. Would have had to be a good one from the boundary. 66 for 1 after 13.
You can see that intent change in the running between the wickets, can't you? Earlier on in the game, they would have jogged through that for an easy 1, but they're just starting to try and take the 2s, turn the 1s into 2s, and turn the dots into 1s. And I think that those margins can be what changes a game as well.
Run rate is 5. 7 overs to go. As Georgia said, Kent in some good form. They've won their last 3 games. The luxury of naming an unchanged squad from their win over Northants. They've lost a couple of lone players. Have a Derbyshire, Hannah Hardwick with Hampshire, Rachel King with Surrey. Derbyshire still have Maria Andrews with the Blaze, doing really well there. Lara Shaw still nearing a return from a foot injury. Another Blaze Academy loanee. And Ria Fackrell with Yorkshire as well. So yeah, that's a 3:30 start, should say, the World Cup final. Of course, double screening, very popular now. But if you are watching on one screen, you can watch the first hour of this. Or I think Rita Ora might be playing, but we know cricket's better. Couldn't tell you much about Rita Ora, but we've got live cricket here. But yeah, that is a real shame, that scheduling. But it doesn't surprise me at the same time. Well, describe that. She's going for the sweep, and it has been prodded away to the fielder at point. Duckworth had enough time to actually realise the ball was outside off and open the face of the bat instead. Young has been superb with the ball. And how has that beaten everyone? It looked like the googly, the one that's gone the other way from up here. We'll come back for 2 byes. Certainly beat Blinkhorn Jones all ends up. It's the big swing from Rebecca Duckworth. I'm just going to have a look back on the stream, just see if this one went the other way. Yeah, might well have done. That'll worry these batters. This one's outside off. It's creative. I wonder after this 6 overs to go if these 2, it's going to be a case of hit out or get out. Still 9 wickets in hand. Just tried to hit out. It's picked out the fielder at mid-off. Throw in towards the stumps. Just misses. Shot's finding the middle of the bat now, but finding the fielders. 70 for 1.
Who would be, because we're starting to see a lot more music artists coming along to cricket to, make it more entertaining or bring more people in. Who would be your dream artist to watch at a cricket game?
Goodness me. Get the crowd going. I guess that would be the intent. My problem is a lot of the time I think we get music that actually isn't really what the people at cricket listen to. And I get we're trying to target the younger audience, but all the blast matches I go to, just think you look around the crowd and actually you can just play the old classics, But who would I want to get back to you? Because my music taste might not really align. Sydney Gorham back on. fielded in the ring. Well, I thought the Killers did an excellent job for the Champions League final. I mean, they might be a little bit out of the budget, but I think you want someone like that, don't you? Get the crowd going, appeal to a little bit more of a wider range. I don't know how much Rita Ora and Clean Bandit do that.
Yeah, I think they are aimed at a slightly younger audience, aren't they?
But I suppose, yeah, there's a budget range. You probably wanted Olivia Dean, and then all respect to Rita Ora as they're coming back. Good running again. Duckworth making her ground. Who would you be choosing if you were playing in particular and you were warming up and you got some live music?
I think one of the best artists that I've seen live in terms of getting a crowd going is the Vaccines. They're very good at bringing energy to the room. So I'd probably go for them. But I think that's quite niche.
Premeditated shot. That's brilliant. Fantastic from Duckworth. Is it going to bring a 4? It's well stopped on the boundary and it just stays inside the ring. Excellent from Isabella James, one of the Kent coaches, just saying to the umpire, yeah, nothing to worry about there. He was walking past. Wonderful fielding.
She did a really good job to get to that there. It looked like it was just going to get away from her, but she managed to get down to it.
The 50 partnership between Duckworth and Kenvin. Still both striking below 100 comfortably in the case of Duckworth. Falls off the back foot for mid-wicket for 1. Yeah, I don't think of gigs where the crowd's got... I mean, I saw Muse, and they were fantastic. One of my favourites. So the Foo Fighters were very good for that, and that's my area of music. And, well, yeah, the Killers in particular.
I mean, Katy Perry at the Australia World Cup did a very good job, didn't she?
Yeah, that one really worked. 4 runs straight off the bat of Lauren Kenvin. Can she get the Derbyshire crowd going? There's a bit of a ripple of applause going round now as they move on to 79 for 1, 5.1 overs to go. They're laying the platform.
She's in really good form at the moment, isn't she, Lauren Kenvin? Off the back of, I know you read out some of her recent scores, 52 not out, 46 not out, and 50 last week. Yeah, she's just in really good form at the moment.
She go again, she steps across her stumps, gets the slower ball, and was rather deceived. Really good end to the over from Gorham, the slower delivery. So 5 overs to go, 79 for 1. They'll need to get above 100. They've got 9 wickets in hand. It's a similar approach again. And what you would say, George, is with a lot of cricket still to be played in the one-day cup, and Derbyshire still looking for the first one-day win. Looks like they'll slot back into that format quite nicely. But they need a bit more here in the 20 overs.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think this is excellent and positive signs going back into the one-day games, but just need a bit more in the T20.
Wow. She turned into a left-hander by the end of that.
And if we're talking about risk-taking, there we are.
So I think that would have been given a wide, but she did end up as a left-hander. And I think also the umpires thought, that's above my pay grade, that sort of decision, because there was so much going on. Conventional sweep, picks the gap between mid-wicket and square leg on the boundary. Kenvin starting to motor now.
That is swept really hard. She got herself in a really good position there. Really low, head over her front knee. I think often playing the sweep shot, people can send their head into the sky. But she really got over that and reached forward to sweep that hard to find the gap. If she'd have gone the other way, 2 metres either side, would have potentially been stopped by a fielder there.
Tossed up, down the ground, and it's 1 bounce 4. Kenvin is finding the middle of her bat at the moment. She's into the 30s. Well, she's on loan from Warwickshire's academy, and they're going to be standing up and taking a little bit of notice at this run of form, at the shots that are being played as well. Certainly a strong player on the onside, but she went straight this time and found the boundary. Back-to-back fours. Now steps back and slams this hard. Just a single, though, mopped up nicely by Sydney Gorham.
I think this is really good from Derbyshire now. They're just starting to turn the heat up a bit more and making Kent think about what they're going to do from a bowling perspective.
Tossed up. Beats everything. Should be 2 byes. The harder you swing, the harder it can become for the wicket-keeper. Big flurry of the bat. High backlift for Duckworth. 92 for 1 with 4 overs to go. What will they be looking at here as a target?
I think they're going to be having to think about at least 120, which actually from the position that they were in, at 4 overs in, 9 for none, with a run rate below 3, I think they'll be pretty happy to take 120 from this position.
Football World Cup, Australia have just gone 1-0 down to Egypt. So perhaps that bodes well for Sunday. I saw Phoebe Litchfield at Wimbledon, joining in with chants of Aussie, 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 and going crazy, basically, which was fantastic. Real character. Sydney Gorham will bowl her final over. Well, at some stage. She won't now because it's Amy Gordon.
Just keeping us on our toes.
Yeah. Really well. Going 3 and over down the pitch. Gets it past. Extra cover for 2. Duckworth will be eyeing up her second blast 50 for Derbyshire. She scored a century against Kent in the one-day cup defeat all the way back in April, Derbyshire's second game of the season. Fran Lonsdale also scored a ton in that game. Back foot now from Duckworth, no run. Not timed, half stopped by the bowler. Good running though, because she settled very quickly, Duckworth. Derbyshire can get to 100 the next over or so, maybe 3 overs to get 20, 25 runs. Very much doable. You're looking at more than that, really. Sweeping is Kenvin again. There's 2 there. And the gap between the fielders. And there's just a single sent back. Run out chance. And one of the slowest run outs you'll see. Kenvin will be very disappointed. It looked like there were 2 runs. It was the gap between the fielders. It didn't go straight to hand. But Kenvin made her ground in the end. All happened very slowly in the end. Now down the pitch, but York's herself. Gordon's been really good, showing her array of skills. From our angle, it looked like Kenvin was gone because she almost gave up, but she made her ground. Struck on the pads. 3 for 1 leg by, so Gordon's spell is done. 4 overs, 0 for 14. Derbyshire 97 for 1. 3 overs to go.
This is much better batting from Derbyshire. But as you've pointed out, they might get to the end of this innings 1 down. And I think I'd have liked to have seen them batting like this earlier on and taking some of these risks earlier on because they've had the wickets in hand. and it could have cost them, 20, 30 runs just in terms of their timing of when they decided to start going for it. And that 20 and 30 runs could, at the end of the day, be enough to change who won this.
Yeah, surprising. I think we maybe expected a little more in terms of the intent after recent games. There's a little bit of intent down the ground for one.
But if we're taking positives, it's certainly better in terms of positive intent from what we saw last week against Gloucestershire.
They did make 135 in that innings, but they fell comfortably short, chasing 173. Yeah, the power play again an issue. 23 for no loss after 6, Derbyshire today. That's lifted nicely over extra cover for 4. Really strong shot from Lauren Kenvin. That's a serious cricket shot through the offside. Hundred up for Derbyshire as she backs away again. Back to the bowler. It'll be a third 50 in 4 games for Kenvin if she was to go on and get it. She's 11 shy. The partnership's 79. They get towards 125, 130. Tossed up. Swept high. It's going to fall short of the square leg fielder. It bounces past her. This is not an easy outfield to field on. Back for 2, Kenvin into the 40s.
She's a force to be reckoned with at the moment, isn't she? The way that she's been batting, timing the ball as well. And bowlers have found it very difficult to get her out too.
You don't want to give her anything on her legs, but then she makes that space for herself, as she does there, stepping across the stumps. She wants to access that leg side, and she finds ways of doing it, even if the ball, if you don't move your feet, isn't quite there to do it. Manoeuvring this field around. Can Duckworth really put the foot down now? Swept hard out to deep mid-wicket. Fields nicely. Duckworth retains the strike, 106 for 1. So 2 overs left in the innings. 10 and over would take them to 126. And Sydney Gorham does come on now.
Kent have got so much depth in their bowling attack, don't they? I think almost everyone in the team could have a go with the ball.
Yeah, I have everyone down apart from Blinkhorn-Jones as an all-rounder, essentially. Everyone does. Have you seen Blinkhorn-Jones bowl before?
I have not.
Sure it's in there somewhere. But yeah, everyone is able to bowl. Goes for the scoop and gets it. Very clever again from Duckworth. I've seen that sort of shot a couple of times, and that's 50 for Rebecca Duckworth. She enjoys batting against Kent. 100 against them in the One Day Cup, and now a half century. Her second blast 50 for the Falcons on loan from Yorkshire. Derbyshire 110 for 1.
That was a really nicely timed scoop. That she knew exactly what she was doing going into that shot.
Goes for it again, gets it past the fielder at 45. And it's held up inside the rope by Isabella James, who's fielded well on the boundary down below us. Come back for a third. So Kenvin back on strike. The partnership is 90. Important with Duckworth as well. She just gets her strike rate up towards the end of this inning, so looks a little better on the scorecard too. She's getting there. Very useful runs at the back end, and she's looking to carry her bat. Around the wicket now from Gorham to Lauren Kenvin, which is interesting considering how strong she is through the onside. Backs away to open up the offside. It's well fielded, run out chance. Oh, you just don't know what you're going to get from Lauren Kenvin. We can't actually call it. You thought that might suit her with Gorham coming around the wicket, but when Kenvin backing away, looked to flash the ball through the covers.
I think from Gorham's perspective, she's probably trying to push it across her so that it actually closes that option on the leg side and forces her to play into the offside, given how strong she's been with that sweep.
Ball that wider line. Full and straight this time, and fine from Kenvin. She's got all the shots. Sorry, it's Duckworth. They're both going. They're both playing the shots. 95, the partnership. Another boundary for Duckworth.
Duckworth's doing really well to work that around. I think it's Megan Belt out there in the field. Just seems to be putting it a metre either side of her, keeping her out of the game.
Well, 120 will be the minimum now. Still think 130 is a possibility. Again, just having to make some adjustments in the field. Everyone in the ring now on the offside. Everyone back on the leg side for Duckworth. Gorham staying around the wicket. Where's she going to bowl here? 2 balls left of the 19th. Well, I've got nothing. There are all sorts of shots played there. It brings Duckworth a single. It's brilliant creativity. I don't know where you bowl to either of these two at the moment.
It does make me ask the question, though, of why they've waited. They've clearly got these shots in their locker. Why have they waited so long? And they kind of really waited until the 15th over to start playing some of these shots. And actually, at over 10, it would have been quite nice to start seeing some of them, given that they were only 1 wicket down.
Went to scoop, I think, on the offside and then change for the onside there. Final ball of the penultimate over. Gorham, in the scheme of things, has been expensive. Should concede another one through square leg, although they do think about a second. Turned down. 120 on the board now for Derbyshire with 1 over to go. Phoebe, you need to change the camera because people at home are going to start feeling sick. There we go. That's the roaming camera. Jake is healthy and alive. He looked like he was running from the police. 1 over to go.
You can see the more experienced players on the Kent side having a bit of a huddle here about what to do. And this is what batting creatively does. It puts pressure on the field inside. And this is the first time that we've really actually seen Kent get into one of those huddles and have a little conversation about what their action plan is going to be and how they're going to set their field and do things a little bit differently.
Yeah, you just wonder if they got a little comfortable, Kent, maybe halfway through the innings, seeing how Derbyshire have gone about it recently. But Derbyshire looking to prove that batting time at the crease, that this strategy they have is going to pay off. They put their foot down towards the end. Still more changes in the field, and looks like they're going to have 4 in the ring on the offside, and then a quite wide extra cover on the boundary. It's an interesting field. Long on, mid-wicket, and square leg on the rope as well. Full delivery, well bowled from Holly Young. Kenvin's on 44, 120 on the board for Derbyshire. They'd love to get that up and above 130. Hit hard. They'll run on the throw, which was a gentle one just back to the bowler in the end. Kenvin on to 45. She's made 40 or more in her last 4 innings now for Derbyshire, Lauren Kenvin. Duckworth gets the reverse out. The fielder was there. Short fine for that shot. Actually, if she went offside there, then That would have been 4 if she hit that fine. Short third moves wider. Up in the air. It's going to fall short of deep mid-wicket comfortably. A couple of bounces and very well fielded with one hand. Run-out chance. It's going to be out. Really, really good piece of fielding. Kenvin has to go, but the one-handed pick-up and throw was superb from the deep mid-wicket fielder.
Yeah, I think there must have been a bit of miscommunication between the batters, though, because Kenvin had got 3/4 of the way down, and Duckworth was clearly not moving anywhere, so I'm not quite sure what happened there.
So Kenvin is run out. I think there's been a change to the batting order. It would have been Fran Lonsdale to come in next. Is that Rhiannon Knowling-Davis been thrown up the order? There we go. Reverse sweep. Just misses off stump. Knowling-Davis may not face a ball. Slog sweep. Well, unless they can come back for 2, she's going to have to, but there's not 2 there. It's been a really good final over. So Knowling-Davis up the order from 9 will face the final, or what? No, that was the last ball of the over. Well, I had it down as one more.
I had it down as one more.
Well, if Derbyshire lose this, no, there we go. Single. The scorers are working hard. Well, that's a rather anticlimactic end of the innings. Kent is slowly walking off. So Knowling-Davis in the end not facing a ball. Umpire's just checking something. But Derbyshire finish 124 for 2. Georgia Ralph, an innings that was slow to get going, but Rebecca Duckworth and Lauren Kenvin, in particular, keeping her form going. They've given them something to defend here.
Yeah, I think we talked about, from following on from Derbyshire's game last week, how important the power play was going to be today. And I think they came out trying to do a little bit better there. But I think I'd still like to see more from the power play. And then they've continued doing one of the things that they've been doing well throughout the season in terms of building partnerships. They've built an excellent partnership that's batting for the majority of the innings there. But I think there's still some work to be done on in terms of the tactical side of it, and when is a good time to start pushing on and trying to take those more riskier shots or those more the riskier runs as well. But I think they'll be happy to finish on 1-2-4 after the slow start that they had. And I definitely think that is a defendable target.
So Kent need 125 to win. We'll be back in 10 minutes' time. Welcome back to Derby, where Derbyshire are defending first innings score of 124 for 2 against the Kent side, looking to seal their place at finals day. It's the Vitality Blast final round of games, Derbyshire's penultimate game, Kent's finals day at Sophia Gardens in Cardiff, Sunday the 12th of July. Kent coming into the game on 18 points, level with Middlesex. Middlesex play Sussex at Radlett on Sunday. Sussex are bottom of the league. So if Middlesex win that, then Kent will hope they can win this well in advance, and then it could be a straight shootout in terms of net run rate for whoever goes through to finals day. If Kent can get this done early as well, Georgia Ralph, then the possibility of a bonus point win as well could actually be the difference between them and Middlesex. So they may well have that coming into their thinking if they make a strong start.
I think they've got to have it in their mindset going out here. I think they've got to come out really positively, and they've got to be trying to go for that extra bonus point from the offset.
Francesca Clark will start things off from the city end, falling to Cocoa Streets. Short and edged past debutant Olivia Kibler, who was into the action immediately. Francesca Clark always seems to make things happen with the new ball. Almost came off the back of the bat, it looked like, on the replay. Past the diving Kibler on loan from Essex. Streets opening up with Amy Gordon. That goes Fuller. Cut to Fran Lonsdale. You've been tempted to start with a slip-in, just even for the first couple of deliveries of Francesca Clark, who does move the ball around.
I mean, it does apply pressure to a batter. Having been an opening batter, going out with a slip-in, you do start thinking straight away. And I think that is so important from the bowling side of things, or from both sides, to be honest, is how can you keep the other team thinking? Because that ultimately is what keeps you ahead of the game.
Derbyshire defending 124. No run to mid-off. It was 100 stand in the end between Rebecca Duckworth, 60, and Lauren Kembin's 46 for the second wicket. Kembin eventually run out. Rhiannon Nolan Davis was thrown in number 9 and didn't face a ball. Hit hard. Past mid-wicket. It was a decent effort. The diving Matilda Atherton-Gator, her first game for the Falcons in the field rather than having the gloves. Now the floodlights are on as well. The first time Derbyshire have played under floodlights, I'm 99% sure. So it'll be a new experience for a lot of these players fielding under those. Gordon has their first boundary. Nearly a wicket-taking start. Clark inducing the edge of Cocoa Streets. Now been driven for 4. Very pleasant shot through the offside, through extra cover. And Kent off to a very fast start. 9 for no loss.
I think from that start, there's no doubts that they're going out there trying to chase after that extra bonus point. And also just trying to take the lead right from the start. I think sometimes from a batting perspective, you can go out having the end in sight, the 1, 2, 4 in this case, and just thinking about how to do it in the 20 overs. But actually, if you were the first team batting and you were batting in the first innings, then you would be going out way more positively. So I think sometimes it's actually not losing that positivity and the intent that you would go out with if you were batting first, and still going out with the same attitude batting second as well.
Cocoa Streets made a century, their first Kent century, in that one-day cup win back in April.
fun fact for you on Coco Streets. I don't know how widely this is known, but her first name is actually Georgia.
So Coco middle name? Or
I'm not sure if it was just from a young age she just started getting called Coco and it just stuck, or whether it was a middle name.
It's a great name, Coco Streets. Talking about Lords, if someone said to me Coco Streets is performing at Lords at the final, I think I'd just nod and believe them. It's that sort of thing. Lauren Kenvin sharing the new ball. Missing the cut. That one just died a little bit on Coco Streets. Also plays hockey. It's a real crossover. Played a grade cricket out in Australia as well.
Yeah, you see a lot of cricketers also play hockey, don't you?
Yeah, Wayne Madsen, very prominent figure here at Derbyshire. Capped by South Africa for hockey. You see it in a lot of his shots as well. Starts in a nice low stance. Great wrists, sweeps the ball well, both sides of the wicket. A lot of transferable skills. I think Matilda Rafferton-Gator, Luke was telling me, Luke does the Derbyshire social media for the women's team. I think he was saying she plays hockey to a good level as well, the wicket keeper. Cover and third on the boundary for Lauren Kenvin. A little bit too short, and as we saw in the first innings, that gets punished. Third boundary for Gordon.
You heard that crash into the banners at the side, didn't you?
She went to that short ball a lot against Gloucestershire. Had some good effect, didn't she? But just didn't really get up enough in the end. Back of length again, cut, this time in front of the fielder on the cover boundary, who can't cut the ball off. Back-to-back fours for Gordon. Kent's men, it looks like, on the verge of defeat, 54 for 8, chasing 143 away to Worcestershire. Women have made a fine start. 3 boundaries already in their reply after Derbyshire made 124 for 2, another innings in which they had plenty of wickets still in hand. Everyone in the ring on the leg side. Better length from Kenvin, just a single for Gordon to end the second over.
This is really nice from Kent. Really positive batting, and that's what I wanted to see more of from Derbyshire. The single that they took just there, that was perhaps a single that Derby would take in towards the end of the innings. But actually this early on they were saying no to that one. So it's good to see Kent putting that pressure on so early. But we'll have to see how Derbyshire find a reply to that.
Alicia Tennakoon replaces Francis Lonsdale. Warwick Shaloni. Francesca Clark. Now she does have a slip in. Adriana Darlow, close to the debutant wicket keeper. Takes that one nicely down low. Derbyshire quiet in the field.
Yeah, I think there's just more energy is something that they need in both batting and fielding aspects.
On the leg side, signalled wide. Yeah, last year it was very much a team that didn't, because they're not professional, they don't actually spend a lot of time away from the field, and a lot of them are training full-time with their parent club if they're on loan, don't train with Derbyshire. It's 1 or 2 training sessions a week, and They did a team bonding trip to the Lake District before the season started, because I think that was an area they looked at last year. Actually, we're stepping out of people we barely know on the field in some cases, so it is a challenge at this level, at Tier 2. Another one down the leg side, dropped by Kibler. Signalled a leg by.
I was very impressed with Tennecoon's bowling last week. I felt like she was really attacking the stumps and trying to bowl to a plan, and picked up a couple of wickets as well.
It's been driven and well stopped. Lansdale at point. There'll be an overthrow though if they want it. Do they want it? No, because Gordon had gone a little bit too far after making her ground. Lansdale, some excellent fielding, and that nearly cost another run, but got away with it in the end. Yeah, Tennecoon, Prisha Beatty was the pick of the bowlers, and Rhiannon Noley-Davis as well. 2 for 15, eventual defeat to Gloucestershire at Queen's Park. Excellent Queen's Park festival. Tennecoon's on the board. The bail removed from middle and leg. Gordon stepping down, having a big swing through the onside. You miss, I hit, says Melisha Tennecoon. Derbyshire needed that. 22 for 1.
Yeah, she's coming in there with a really good bit of pace on her. It looks like it's coming off the pitch very quickly. And she seems to have tightened her lines a little bit more compared to last week, so far from what we've seen anyway. Really attacking those stumps.
This replay will show you there was an inside edge, bottom of the bat. Tennecoon, not one for celebrating at all, just enjoys a little smile. Still young, that will come. 22 for 1. Maddie Blinkhorn-Jones comes to the crease. A former teammate up in the commentary box. Everyone knows everyone in this game.
Yeah, there are a lot of connections in women's cricket, or cricket more broadly.
Slip in then for Blinkhorn-Jones. Tennecoon goes full, and that is a textbook cover drive. Well, Georgie, you talked her up, and she's not disappointed. That is the shot of the day.
Yeah, she's very good on those front foot drives. She's very confident and comfortable in playing those shots, and like you say, absolute textbook technique there as well.
She'll be looking for a picture of that one from the pair of photographers who are here, I'd imagine. Blinkhorn-Jones up and running, and in the third over of the power play, Kent have surpassed the score that Derbyshire made. They were 23 for no loss after 6. Kent are 1 down, nearly 2 down, a big swish. Taken behind the stumps by Kibler. A wicket taking over from Melisha Tennecoon, 26 for 1.
Yeah, and a very good wicket to get there with Amy Gordon as well. She was batting and very nicely and timing the ball well as well. So Derbyshire definitely should be happy with taking that wicket, and I think Maddie Blinkhorn-Jones is a wicket that they want to take as well here today.
Here's Beth Slater, who is a PE teacher outside of her cricket. A wide, fine leg on the boundary, and third as well, so it's going to be an attacking line from Slater. Well, she didn't want to bowl there. Full toss. It's going to be signalled a no ball. Helped away, well fielded. Out on the boundary, a lot of running for Emily Hughes to do, but it's going to be a no ball, not the start that Slater would have wanted whatsoever, not when you're defending a low total. So a free hit. Umpire just making sure there's been no fielding changes, of course. Swing and a miss, using her feet. Maybe just took a little bit of pace off there, Slater. Good result for the bowler.
She just practiced the shot that she wanted to play there. I think she knew exactly where she went wrong there. Just didn't quite get her foot close enough to the line of the ball.
Has to reach for that. Jam the ball down. Lonsdale can't stop it. Just a single. Streets was very keen for a second. Shadows lengthening across our central Co-op County Ground. Sorry, the Our Co-op County Ground. I'm going to get telling off for that later. It's a great shot. It'll take some getting used to. Lincoln Jones, who unfurled a glorious cover drive in for the first ball. There's protection on the boundary for that shot. It's one that stuck between the legs. Slater's got a yard of pace.
Blencorn Jones scored 71 not out against Leicestershire a couple of games ago. So I think she'll be wanting a repeat of that today.
Full from Slater. Another nice drive. Half stopped by Captain Adriana Darlow. Whereabouts is Spencer Cricket Club then? Not one I've heard of.
Earlsfield, South West London.
Full and driven to cover point, no run. Any famous alumni, men's or women's?
Gus Atkinson
Ah.
is a...
Oh, that's where the name, because did he play a game for them last year? I think he might have done. When
he still plays quite regularly for Spencer.
I think I saw him bowling quite quickly at a couple of batters, trying to bounce them. That's where the name rings a bell. End of the over, 31 for 1. I wonder if he played for them in his little absence from the England side. Well, he was able to go back for Surrey in the end. Yeah, I'm sure I saw him bowling quite quickly against a couple of poor batters.
Yeah. Laura Bailey, who's also in the Kent setup, she's a fellow Spencer player as well.
Tennecoon will bowl their second over from the City end. Just tend to drift a few too many down the leg side.
That was something we saw last week, wasn't it, from the Derbyshire bowling attack? Just a few too many wides. Had a look, averaging 14 extras in T20 games so far this season, Derbyshire. Bowled 18 last Saturday.
Seen some excellent news regarding Sunday. Unfortunately not the cricket being moved, which would have been good. Full, driven, and the one fielder, the cover sweeper doing the fielding.
Have they heard your request for the Killers performing?
Unfortunately not. But in the football, this is the story. England's World Cup last 16 time Mexico set to be moved to 7 p.m. BST on Sunday due to the threat of a storm. Well, I've booked a train home at 9, so if it goes to extra time, I'm going to be very disappointed. However, Derbyshire, Leicestershire should be all done by 6 o'clock. It's driven and not timed. And it means we all don't lose our sleep, staying up until potentially 3 or 4 in the morning, so I'm quite pleased with that.
Do we think the pubs open till 5 a.m. will still stand if that's the case?
Yeah, I think there'll be some bar staff who might also be quite relieved, actually. That's the one thing people don't think about there. I don't think I could go through the night. Full from Tennecoon, hit hard. Derbyshire with protection there. Just checking here, my train over 3 minutes past 9. Got to work out where best to watch that after our game. It's a 2:30 start here, by the way. Derbyshire Falcons women against Leicestershire Foxes. Full and clipped nicely off the pads. Probably 2 if they want it. They do want it. Throw into Tennecoon's end. She has to run back and it's out! Well, there was a muted celebration, a muted appeal. And now everyone racing over to the fielder. It's Lauren Kenvin who's unstoppable at the minute. She's run out towards the end of Derbyshire's first innings. Kent 2 down.
Can see Coco's frustration there. I think perhaps the shout for the second one may not have been quite loud enough for her to hear initially, but you could tell that Maddie wanted that straight away. She was sprinting between the wickets. Coco slightly slower, perhaps wasn't expecting to turn back for the second.
Well, here we go on the replay. Well, if I get slowed down. But yeah, there's a little conversation between the two as well. Street's not happy. But great work from Tennecoon, who could have continued to run up to the bails and actually thought, I'm going to be better off throwing this as soon as I can. So Kent 2 down. Lauren Kenvin is the all-round package, isn't she? Bats, bowls, fields. She's having a fine time of it at the minute. Derbyshire's fielding has been good in this power play. Great combination from Kenvin and Tennecoon. Can they get another one here quickly? Excellent length. Blinkhorn-Jones defends. Kelly Castle is at the non-striker's end. Well, that's some day of sport though, isn't it? Sunday. Women's T20 World Cup final involving England, then England at Mexico, reportedly for 7. On top of that, Derbyshire women versus Leicestershire. Spoiled for choice. Of course, if you do want to come here and watch the cricket on your phone, there is good Wi-Fi. That's full down the leg side. Those are runs that Derbyshire can't really afford. Tennecoon going for that leg stump Yorker. Come back for 2. Wide signalled.
And if you've got space for another screen as well, you've got Wimbledon on this weekend too.
Yeah, I was already just trying to think, because we both use our laptop quite heavily for notes, so how are we going to be able to have the T20 World Cup final? Of course, we will have full concentration on Derbyshire-Leicestershire. But it does mean with this starting an hour early, we should be able to watch the end of the World Cup final, and then that rolls nicely into the England game. So, what a time to be alive. Through for a leg bye, 39 for 2 after 5. Of course, got the excitement of that. First ever women's test at Lords as well, England versus India. Starting soon, actually. It's not a big turnaround between the end of the World Cup and that.
Yeah, I was, when I was checking because I'm going to Lords on Saturday and I was checking my diary. I was quite surprised to see how quickly it was after the end of the World Cup.
Quite a different squad for England, isn't it? Tammy Beaumont was in there. A number of different faces to those who, of course, predominantly all play white ball cricket, but there are a few more red ball friendlies going on at academy level. 3-day friendlies. Prisha Bedi of Derbyshire was involved in one this week with her parent club Essex, so maybe showing that there is some thought given to improving England's red ball credentials. Change of ends for Clark. Because with the increasing professionalism of women's cricket as well, you hope that the space could be opened up in the calendar just for a few more red ball fixtures. Looking forward to that test. The tickets seem to have sold well as well. Full from Clark. 2 full. See what she was looking for, the glory ball, but it was just clipped nicely off leg stump for 4 by Blinkhorn-Jones.
You can see she was running really hard between the wickets there, even though you probably could have guessed that was going to run away for 4. So that's showing us that there's probably going to be a few more opportunities here where ones are turned into twos.
Has to reach for that this time. Yeah, you do wonder if that's in the back of their mind. You know, Middlesex against Sussex on Sunday. If Kent win comfortably but without the bonus point, but then it's Middlesex who are second, well, would be third, against bottom side Sussex who've won one game. The potential for that to be a heavy defeat, considering, you know, Middlesex have won 4 out of their 7, but they did lose heavily to Glamorgan. Just wonder if Kent feel actually we could win this, it might not be enough. If they can, they almost reassess at the halfway stage and think, right, can we really put the foot down? Still need 81 to win. They are 2 down. Derbyshire will be wanting to stay in this game as long as they can. Wider from Clark. She's got the sweeper on that cover boundary.
And we've seen from Derbyshire here, I think probably one of their takeaways from last week was they were a little bit light in the bowling attack, and we've seen a few more bowling changes and looking at what's actually happening on the pitch and who should be brought on next, which has been good to see.
Clip for a single. End of the over, 1 boundary off it, and the end of the power play. Kent 46 for 2. It's double the runs Derbyshire were able to get off the same amount of overs at the start of their innings. But they are 2 down.
And we are starting to see that run rate drop as well. So Derbyshire have got to be happy with the fact that they have got 2 wickets, and looking from the first over till the end of the 6th over, they are actually making the right changes and the right calls and the right decisions on the pitch to actually make Kent have a bit more of a challenge here.
Just 2 boundaries in the power play for Derbyshire, 6 for Kent. Here's Darlow from the City end of her off spin. Got the sunglasses on. They may not last that much longer because the sun is less light. Floodlights on and near full effect. Only a few clouds in the sky. 8:15 on this Friday evening in Derby. Imagine it's pleasant temperature out there, but maybe starting to think about putting a jumper on. Australia level against Egypt in the football. Is Blinkhorn-Jones the type of batter that might look to anchor this innings, or is she going to be the aggressor? She finds a single on the onside.
She's actually one of those players that can do both, and I think there aren't many players that can do that. But she's a really good game assessor and seeing what is needed from me right now and being able to flick between, is it let's stick about and build an innings, or is it actually I'm going to try and keep the run rate up and chase after it. I think perhaps as the in batter here, she's probably going to be the one trying to go for it a little bit more, but Kelly Castle more than capable as well.
Turns this one away behind square. Yeah, no pressure, Betty, I'd imagine, because of her involvement in that 3-day game, but she took 4 for 15. That was just spin options, rather restricted just to Adriana Darlow, which she drags that one down a touch. Maybe a little worry considering how much spin Kent used, actually, when you compare the 2 attacks. Plenty of energy in the field. Tennecoon sprinting around to short third. Final ball of the 6th over, that's the 50 up. Down the ground over the head of Adriana Darlow. Doesn't have the legs to go all the way for 4. Fielder mopping it up. 51 for 3.
And you've obviously got at the other end Kelly Castle, a very experienced player. Obviously only debuted for Kent this year, but over 130 appearances for Essex over the years. These two also built a really good partnership against Leicestershire. Maddie Blinkhorn-Jones, 71 not out. Kelly Castle, 56. So they'll certainly feel comfortable batting together.
And Nolan Davis on for the first time. Derbyshire's star bowler for the last couple of years. Doesn't tend to bowl lots in the power play, which is interesting. To use her outside of it, she attacks those stumps. So the sun very much behind a cloud at the minute. Floodlights on for the first time at a Derbyshire women match in these last couple of years. So those high catches worth keeping an eye on. A little bit more challenging tonight for these fielders who will not have played a lot of cricket in these sort of circumstances. Full from Nolan Davis, hit hard down the ground over her head. Slated as the fielding, cuts it off. Just one run, applauded by a fellow seam bowler.
Taken a wicket in every T20 game so far this season, Nolan Davies.
And last time you said that, she took one immediately. It's in the air, not to be today. Didn't quite carry, would have done well to. Fielder on the square leg boundary.
I think that'd have been a good reaction for the commentator cam there from me if that was a wicket.
It's rare we have positive reactions on the commentator cam. Runs this one down to third. Lonsdale gives chase. Come back for a second. Nearly run into each other, Blinkhorn, Jones and Castle. Highlight commentator cam in recent weeks have you seen the Danny Murphy cat story on the
Yes.
It's just been fantastic. It gave the update last night. That has been a highlight. Nolan Davis. Full down the ground. Slater with some ground to make up for one bounce four. In a quiet few overs, and Blinkhorn Jones releasing the shackles a little bit. 4 runs down the ground.
I think that's something Blinkhorn Jones has really worked on over the seasons, is that 360 hitting and being very comfortable and being able to find the shot that releases the pressure, no matter where that gap is. And playing straight and over the top is definitely a strength of hers, but she's also very good, and we saw it a couple of balls ago where she just dropped her bat down and opened the face of her bat and just tapped it in the gap for one.
Yeah, certainly up and above the run rate that's required. Derbyshire needs some wickets. Pushed off the back foot. Great fielding off her own bowling as well from Nolan Davis, diving across one of those used wickets as well, and she just dusts her arms off. Three fielders out on the onside and a point fielder on the boundary. Down the ground to Slater for a single. 9 off Nolan Davis's first over, 60 for 2 after 8, and going along at a good net rate of knots. Darlow to bowl their second over from the City end. Beats the bat. Lovely length from Adriana Darlow. Love the wicket of Blinkhorn Jones here. But potentially a worry that for Derbyshire. Just one real spin option compared to all of the spin Kent bowled. Hit down the ground. Lovely shot again, straight from Blinkhorn Jones. Excellent fielding. Down there by Frances Lonsdale. He's very good in the field. She's been impressive the last couple of games. That looked like 4 when it left the bat. Now a huge outside edge that's going to run down below us. Again, the outfield's slow. Here at the OurCoop County Ground. Got it right this time. One shot that deserved 4, one that didn't. Neither get it. It's very different to Chesterfield, which had been scorched by the sun and where everything was flying along the turf. A lot of cricket played on this ground. Another hit down the ground. Lonsdale mopping up again, and she's been deceived by the bounce. I think she overran it a tiny bit. It is a hard ground to field on. Can't state that enough.
This is really, really positive batting from Maddie Blinkhorn-Jones. I said at the beginning of the innings that she is the wicket that you want to take, and I think now's the time that Derbyshire want to take that wicket.
Too straight and wide. Just getting away from Derbyshire a touch here. Darlow tosses that one up, and it's been smashed for 4 over mid-off. Emphatic shot from Blinkhorn-Jones, second boundary of the over. And a treat for this Derby crowd this evening. Some real power and timing over the offside. Now sweeping, didn't quite commit to it. Almost jabbed through mid-wicket in the end. Didn't get through the shot. Another productive over. 14 from it.
She looks very comfortable out there at the moment, doesn't she? And I think Castle's doing a good job of just giving her the strike at the moment and allowing her to see the ball and find the boundaries from them. Well-deserved drink being taken by the batters now after some quick running between the wickets as well.
Nolan Davis continuing. A good chat with Darlow. Going to a strike bowler here. Blinkhorn-Jones is on strike. This could be the over, where Derbyshire really looks to put the pressure on. Hard batter to set a field to. They're going to have long on, deep mid-wicket, square legs coming in the ring. 4 in the ring on the offside. Darlow goes down to long off, and there's a deep cover as well. Pace off from Nolan Davis. Saying to Blinkhorn-Jones, we know you like that straight shot down the ground. We know you like the drive over the covers. Try to protect that. Does drive, just a single. Castle has barely faced a delivery. She's been out there since the 5th over. Signed early this year after 14 years of Essex. 6 seasons captaining them, 2 seasons captaining Sunrisers as well. Won that Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy. Just experience that Derbyshire don't seem to have. Wide. And it's got the legs to reach the boundary as well. It's just getting away from the home side at the minute. It's very quiet out there.
Yeah, the energy really started to pick up after those 2 wickets, but it's just dropped off again, and that's what you tend to see in inexperienced sides.
Gives herself some room.
You need to have, I think sometimes you need the experienced players to really rally round the rest of the team and say, right now, it might be a hard moment on the pitch, but actually we need to keep the energy up here, and it can change the game, that energy.
Full. Mid-wicket is there to stop the single. Haven't gone to the short ball yet, Derbyshire, which Kenvin did a few times. The boundary is very much the same size they would be at a men's game. It's a decent hit to find 4 runs here. go to that short ball, the likelihood of a hook shot really carrying all the way out there doesn't seem particularly high. Derbyshire need a wicket somewhere. Partnership is 46. Castle's only faced 8 balls for 4 runs. Down the leg side again. This is an expensive over. Only 2 runs off the bat. 4 more wides. 5 wides even. And Kent moving along potentially towards that bonus point win. Have to do the maths at home in terms of what they need to get there, but that's the 50 partnership. Cut nicely. There'll be 2 runs out to the cover sweeper.
I'm sure extras was probably something that Derbyshire talked about coming away from the game against Gloucestershire last week after bowling 18 extras. We're already at 19 today. I think that's going to be disappointing for them because I would have thought that would be something that they're coming out here trying to improve on. So it would seem that, again, it's probably going to be the conversation that goes away from this game is extras are really costing us here.
Very interesting to see what they do against Leicestershire on Sunday. You know, obviously trying to avoid finishing bottom of the group. They're 3 points above Sussex, who play Middlesex. So Derbyshire will hope that even with defeat they don't finish bottom. But actually, if that game is a bit of a free hit, you really try some different things, move the batting order around a little bit. Bit of licence for people to go out and have a swing, or this has been a case of, you know, this is how we want to bat. We want to bat the 20 overs. We want to keep wickets in hand. And again, you know, would that transition nicely into the one-day cup? You'd think so, because there are batters who are clearly comfortable spending time at the crease and not giving their wicket away. Slate of a whippy action. That one falls just short of Adriana Darlow and runs away for 4. Castle has her first boundary.
The field is still sat in the same position. I think quite surprised at how that went past. It almost looked like it went through her legs. I didn't see on the replay, but it just bounced awkwardly for her.
Yeah, almost dropped in front of her feet, Darlow. Drops that shorter.
I think she's got away with that short ball there. I think had Castle looked to cut that, she may have found the boundary, but she tried to go the other way and just didn't quite time it right.
Kent trying to secure their place at finals day. Misses out there again. Could have pushed for a single, but felt no need to risk it. Good venue for finals day, Sophia Gardens. Down in Cardiff, Glamorgan will be there as group winners. Derbyshire disappointed. They got a couple of nice early wins in this group. Worcestershire away, Sussex at home. They had a couple of wins over lower tier opposition in the County Cup, and they've just not kicked on as they'd have hoped. Focusing back after Sunday on 50 over cricket, trying to find their first 50 over win. Back of a length, help round the corner. Protection there. There's a misfield, and they'll come back for 2. Slater collects her cap from the umpire, 95 for 2. When you compare the 2 innings, Kent at the halfway mark were 88 for 2, almost double what Derbyshire had. And again, you look at if Derbyshire batting first, setting out thinking what's a good score, perhaps that's the way of going about it, having what they feel is a par score. Do they know what the par score is on this ground? Having that in mind, because, again, they got through an innings with plenty of wickets in hand, but not going to be enough runs once more. Tenor Kuhn returns, 1 for 13 from 2 overs. Kent need 30 more to win from 9. 60 this partnership. Castle has 9. Have a few more here. That's a nice drive. It was a full toss. It was there to be put away, and it was put away.
Be interesting to see if Derby have a 7th bowling option today, because I know last week they only had 6 bowlers, and we felt that perhaps having that 7th option just to change things up a little bit when some bowlers do have bad days sometimes, or just to give the batters something else to think about. Be interesting if they've thought about that today.
Oh, a nice drive. Yeah, I did see Fran Lonsdale bowling what looked like some leg spin in the warm-ups last week. So whether that would be their only other option compared to Kent, all of the variety they had in their attack. And Derbyshire are missing some spinners. As the Kent 100 comes up, Maria Andrews has done so well on loan, and then with the Blaze players away at the World Cup, she's signed a professional deal there and been bowling really well. Gemma Rose was in the squad today, in the 12-player squad. She's carrying the drinks, the leg spinner. But yeah, a seam-heavy attack. Ria Fackrell is with Yorkshire as well, who bowls off spin, so the mercy of some of these loans. Prisha Bedi not here as well, so all of the spinners not available, apart from Gemma Rose, who wasn't picked. Work to do for Lonsdale here. Just holding up.
That's the shot that Maddie just played there that I was talking about earlier. She's just so good at just dropping her hands and finding that gap on the offside. I'm surprised they're actually changing the field now. I was going to say I'm surprised they haven't already got a fielder down in that area, given how strong it is for her as a shot.
Hit hard down the ground. Nolan Davis there to do the fielding.
But I guess that's part of the problem for Maddie, isn't it? If you plug one gap, she'll find the other gap.
Yeah, she's displayed some real power and timing. Another wide, the extras column climbs to 20. Again, when Derbyshire have not put enough runs on the board, they just cannot afford to give these away. Lincoln Jones eyeing up a half-century, Castle on strike. Full toss, swept. Interesting option. Can only need singles though. They look like they'll be getting over the line comfortably here. 105 for 2. 20 more needed to win. The Worms say it all. And Kent, well, they were stuck in traffic on the way here, but it's been very much an easy ride for them since, despite some pressure from Duckworth and Kenvin in the Derbyshire batting innings. Derbyshire set to fall short once more. Kent won the toss, elected to bowl. They restricted the Falcons well, despite some of that late flurry of runs. When Kenvin got going, Duckworth got stuck in with her scoops and sweeps.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard ask from Derby from here. They're going to have to find a lot of wickets from somewhere, I think, for this game to end in the way they want it to.
Full and only half stopped by Kibler. Hoped for a little more on debut. She missed a tough chance for the very first ball of this innings when Francesca Clark induced an edge of Coco Streets. Flew to her right. This time it was trying to protect the extras. 22 now. This young bowling attack, this young Derbyshire side. Can't get that one away, Castle. So Derbyshire against Leicestershire on Sunday. A bit of a break for Derbyshire's women. Returning to one-day cup action later this month. There's a wicket. Long overdue, a little too late. But Beth Slater gets on the board. Castle never really got going. She's LBW for 15.
Well, they celebrated that pretty well, Derbyshire. I think that woke some of them up in the field, that celebration.
Yeah, it just looked out on the replay. Slater certainly pleased. Appeal from behind the stumps from Olivia Kibler on her debut as well. So this prolongs things a little bit. Still 17 more needed to win. Looks like Durham are going to beat Lancashire quite comfortably. Lancashire 79 all out. Wickets for Johnson, Levick and Villiers in that game. And Durham 54 for free. Holly Armitage is 32, so that's a correct result for Durham in Tier 1. Here is Elsa Barnfather of Welling Garden City in Hertfordshire, which is not far from where I came up from this morning. All the Hertfordshire players, Sunrisers as well. Can't get off the mark.
It's quite a nice time to come out as a batter, actually, when you're in a pretty comfortable position. You've got somebody at the other end that's going quite nicely. It's just your job to get them back on strike.
Most runs for Kent last year in the Blast, Barnfather. Up on her toes nicely there, punched off the back foot for a single. Clark doing the fielding. Can need 16 more to win off the final 7 overs.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about extras again because I think, if you knock 20 off Kent's score here, it's still probably a doable total to chase down at this point, but it just brings a bit more into the game. It, makes it a bit more of a 50-50 or 60-40 opportunity than the position that they're in now. And then if you pair that with it taking sort of 15 overs for the batters to go, right, okay, we're actually going to chase after this now. I think had they have started that positive intent a little bit earlier, you could have probably added another 40 runs to Derbyshire's total, and that completely changes the game right there.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Falcons, it's been a little bit too much of a similar story, I guess, the last few. Kenvin returns. Barnfather can just take her time to get into this innings. Kent hoping to be there at finals day, and they'll have a good crack, but Glamorgan and Middlesex, you'd feel, will be the strong favourites. That's got through everything. And it's going to be stopped inside the boundary by Emily Hughes. Buys. So more extras. Not the easiest debut for Kibler behind the stumps.
I think it's got to be hard standing back there, and then this outfield is not always the most predictable. So if it is bouncing before it comes through to her, it's making her job a bit more difficult.
Full and there to be put away. Duckworth doing the fielding. They'll come back for 2. $12 more to win. Lincoln Jones will hope she's able to have the chance to move to 50. Off an edge. And down to the boundary for 4 runs. Barnfather has her first boundary, just 8 more needed to win. Can't fault the effort from Lauren Kenvin today for Derbyshire, that's for sure.
Yes, it's been her day really today, hasn't it?
40 runs or more in her last 4 innings in the blast. The big throw in for that run out as well. Quick single, really good running. So 7 needed to win. Lincoln Jones on 47. Pick up a single, means she keeps the strike. Blinkhorn Jones, 6 to win. She'll be pleased about that. Trying to get to the half century. 118 for free.
My eyes aren't quite good enough. I'm trying to see if her parents are here. Her parents normally try to get to every game, but I'm sure if they're not here, they're probably watching online. So
drop us a comment on YouTube if you can, if you're able. Let Georgia Ralph know. And if they don't, we'll imagine they're here. See where she raises the bat as well, if she does get there. Onto the dugout, out at deep mid-wicket now, and then a little bit squarer into the crowd, perhaps. 48. This could well be the last over of the match. Slater, good figures, 1 for 16. 6 needed to win. And there is the 25th extra. This goes for 5 wides now. Poor Blinkhorn Jones.
we had that in the World Cup recently, didn't we?
Yeah.
Sophia Dunkley on 49, not out.
Clipped away. Now, are they going to push hard for a second? No, just a single. 4 to win. Well, Elsa Barnfather. No rush to get this over the line, but if she smashes this for 4, then I think she'll be owing the non-striker a bit. 4 to win. She has hit it hard, but straight to the fielder on the boundary.
My heart dropped for a second there.
It was like Lonsdale's 50, actually, the final ball. She hit that straight to the fielder, and there's a little misfield, and she got 50th, the last ball of Derbyshire's unsuccessful chase at Queen's Park. 3 needed. Turned away, and there is 50 for Blinkhorn Jones. An excellent innings, both steadying the ship and then adding some beautiful shots as well, particularly through the offside. Set out her intent from the get-go of a cover drive for 4 off her first ball, and she has 50 of 40 deliveries.
she's played a brilliant innings there. I've been lucky to be able to watch her back quite a lot, and she's always a pleasure to watch in the way that she goes about the game.
Finals day within reach for Kent. Up and over and through. And Kent have won inside 15 overs. It may well be enough for a bonus point victory. That will surely secure their spot at Sophia Gardens for finals day on the 12th of July. It's another defeat for Derbyshire, who will end their T20 campaign here on Sunday against Leicestershire Foxes. But there was only one team in this one in the end. Blinkhorn-Jones batted beautifully. They bowled really well as a unit, particularly the spinners, and Kent have shown their experience and their class this evening. Handshakes between the players, the umpires, and in the end we wondered, did Derbyshire leave a few runs out there, and it's the same case. 25 extras in the end, and just not enough runs on the board in the first innings. Light fades at the OurCoop County Ground. Georgia, Ralph, your overall reflections and another tough defeat for Derbyshire.
Yeah, I think obviously there's a lot of learnings that Derbyshire can take away from today, but I think the way that Kent went about the game was brilliant. With the ball, they bowled really well to their field placements, and then came out here with the bat and just came out really positively right from the off and built a really nice innings. It was nice, really nice to watch their performances today.
So Derbyshire made 124 for 2. Rebecca Duckworth 60 of 76. Lauren Kenvin 46 of 37. Kent chasing that down after 14 overs and 4 balls. 127 for 3. Maddie Blinkhorn-Jones the highlight with 50 from 40. We will be back here on Sunday, 2:30 p.m. start. Derbyshire ending their T20 campaign against Georgia's former side. Which side will she be on Sunday? Derbyshire women against Leicestershire Foxes. 2:30 start. We will see you on Sunday.